The Make-A-Wish Foundation typically grants the wishes of kids and teenagers with critical illnesses by sending them on family vacations or giving them a chance to meet a celebrity or sports hero. This past summer, the organization offered to make a wish come true for a young teenager in the Adirondacks who suffers from epilepsy. Turns out that young lady's wish, though, was to give back and help others.
Maria told her wish granters that she wanted to establish an emergency fund through the Epilepsy Foundation of Northeastern New York to help others with epilepsy, like herself, to be able to afford their medications.
There's so many people on Facebook offering, just begging for medication just for one night and just one dose, please, like begging. And we were talking about that, and I realized, why not give back instead of take?
And so Maria's wish was to create Maria's Epilepsy Medication Emergency Fund. The $10,000 will help others who need emergency epilepsy medication.
It will help people afford vital medications that they need to control their seizures.
And we are happy to be joined by Bill Trigg, who is the CEO of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Northeast New York. Welcome. It is so good to see you again.
Tom, likewise. Thanks for having me.
This past year, one of your ambassadors is an amazing teenager, a young woman who we just met just a few moments ago, Maria Lutz. Every now and then you'll have recipients, often teenagers, who will turn around and pay it forward, and that's exactly what she did this year.
That's right. And what I love about Maria's story, so Maria is our fifth Wish kid in the almost 35 years now that we have been a chapter, and we're closing in on our 2000th wish coming up.
Congratulations, by the way. Yeah, milestone for you.
Yeah, hopefully later this spring in 2022. She's only one of 5 wish recipients in our chapter who wanted to pay it forward and do what we call our unofficial fifth wish type to I want to give back. And so Maria, as you know, has epilepsy, and she talked about, and the interesting thing is that her wish, which was to create a fund to be able to help other epilepsy patients who are having a difficult time affording their anti-seizure medication. We gifted a large sum, to launch that fund, and so we invited her and her family down from Inlet in Hamilton County, for the celebration with us and with the folks from the Northeastern New York Epilepsy chapter. So she just wowed everybody. I mean, she's a class act young lady, and we were very proud of her, and we were very proud to be able to grant her wish.
What an incredibly generous and thoughtful thing for her to do.
Yes.
And it follows on the heels, a couple of years ago, another teenager from the North Country, Alyssa Fenton from Lewis, New York, donated her wish. $8,000 was given to the Third Age Adult Day Center on the Plattsburgh campus, the SUNY Plattsburgh campus, where Alyssa volunteered. And she gave her wish to the center so they could fix up a courtyard that's used by people they serve, many who have dementia and Alzheimer's.
That's correct. So she was number 4. She was our 4th I want to give back wish ambassador. So, yeah, and I'm pleased to tell you that we're not quite finished with her wish yet, because we're waiting to, unfortunately COVID got in the way, but we haven't had a chance to actually celebrate the completion of that courtyard. We want to do a special ceremony in the courtyard and put in a special plaque there acknowledging, that this courtyard was made possible because of her generosity.
We were happy to be part of the kickoff for the AdoptAWish campaign at the mall in Plattsburgh a couple of weeks ago, just before Thanksgiving. You set up a booth at Champlain Center during the holiday season, asking folks to help make a wish.
That's correct. So our AdoptAWish holiday campaign, which is now in its 29th year, is our longest running special event fundraiser that we do to raise money for wishes for our kids throughout the entire 518 area code. And here in the North Country, the Champlain Center Mall is our focal point, for people to come to help support our wish program through the campaign.
And folks can buy stars that have Pictures of two of the ambassadors for this
Correct.
coming year.
So we have 8 ambassadors for the campaign in all, 2 from the North Country here.
The 2 ambassadors this year. Brandon, he's a 10-year-old from Plattsburgh.
Correct.
And he had a very simple wish.
He did, but his wish, as you know, wish for a play set. But what was fascinating, that was granted during the winter, because we could have waited to do it in the spring, but the family felt very strongly, they would really wanted him to be able to have that sooner rather than later. So the wish granters made that happen with the help of the family, and we have there's this great photo of him swinging, in his parka and stuff. And
yeah, we're looking at it right now. Great
smile, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just picture perfect.
That's what it's all about when you see that picture.
That's right. That's the joy of a wish right there in his smile.
And just to remind folks, your organization grants wishes for children with
critical illnesses.
It used to be, I think a lot of people always thought it was life-threatening, that it had to be life-threatening.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing, but it's just a different we just changed the terminology. Critical illness, the term critical illness was, we changed from life-threatening to critical illness a few years ago. The medical conditions that qualify a child for a wish, for Make-A-Wish, are not necessarily terminal, but they are critical or life-threatening, certainly, but the critical illness terminology is more apropos for the medical community, so on. So that's why we use that now, to help the medical, because all of our referrals, Tom, as you know, are made to us through the pediatric medical community. So we rely on them, to make that determination.
And to pick up on that, if people are wondering who's eligible, the ages, and how the recipients are chosen.
Sure. So there's only 2 criteria that a child or teenager has to meet to qualify for a wish for Make-A-Wish. They have to be between 2.5 and 18 years of age, and they have to have a critical illness. And that critical, and we have a spectrum of qualifying conditions. It's not just the cancers and the blood disorders and so on. It includes respiratory conditions, like particularly cystic fibrosis, cardiac conditions, et cetera, et cetera. The whole gamut. And even rheumatological conditions and so on, neurological conditions like Duchenne's form of muscular dystrophy. So once a child or teenager qualifies, then they typically get referred to us through a member of the pediatric medical community, typically either the child's primary care provider or a specialist working with the child and the family. So once we determine the child qualifies, then we assign 2 volunteer wish granters, and their job is to meet with the child and the family and to determine his or her heartfelt wish, and then to work with my program team to make that happen.
In the past, your organization would grant in the neighborhood of 100 wishes a year. That was always the goal. Help
Correct.
us get to 100.
90 to 100, because we know, Tom, that in our chapter, and this was verified by some statistics that we got from the New York State Department of Health, that there are approximately 100 boys and girls within the 15 counties that we serve, that including Clinton, Hamilton, Essex, Franklin, that would qualify for a wish for Make-A-Wish. So that's the number that we use, so we were granting between 90 and 100 a year, and then COVID hit. In fact, COVID hit just at the midpoint of our business year that year in early 2020. And at that midpoint on February 28th, we had already granted 850 wishes. So we were well on our way to get to that 100 goal by August. And then we ended up only granting 3 more wishes between March 1st and August 31st. Yeah. And then this past year, we only granted 30 wishes last year. I shouldn't say only, but that's all that we were able to grant, because we still had travel restrictions that stopped us from being able to do more. Now, with the fact that children ages 5 to 11 can also now get vaccinated, we are now seeing more travel wishes now coming to fruition. And a lot of families and a lot of kids, decided that they wanted to wait. I mean, they've been waiting almost 2 years now to be able to have that wish come true. And now we're going to make it happen this coming year.
Excellent. And the other ambassador this year is a young lady from Saranac, New York, Dell. She is 11.
Yep.
And she was able to take a trip to the West Coast. She wanted to go to the headquarters of EA Sports, and she loves The Sims, so she got to meet the creators of The Sims.
That's correct.
And what does it mean for these children and teenagers and their families to be able to have their wishes like this granted? How does it help them as they're dealing with these life-threatening illnesses?
That's a great question, and thank you for asking it. Let me answer it this way, Tom, and for the listening audience, that we're in the business of creating hope. And what I mean by that, creating hope for these kids, to know that they through their wish experience, to be able to be inspired that they are going to get better and get through this difficult, challenging time in their lives, but also to give hope to the rest of the family that that we're going to be there to support them to get through this challenging time, and also their extended communities, whether it's their school, their faith community, their neighborhoods, their extended family, and so on. So the ripple effect of a wish is really quite remarkable. But what the wish experience does, and this is the thing I find most compelling about being part of Make-A-Wish and about what we do, is that the wish experience, and I've seen this time again, Tom, the wish experience helps these children and teenagers to be able to do more and to be more with their lives than anybody, including themselves, ever thought possible. A lot of these kids actually go on to do really wonderful things with their lives, and it's just absolutely remarkable.
And inspirational. When we saw you last year, obviously during COVID, a lot of the malls were shut down and people weren't able to go shopping, and so the suggestion was that they could go online to your website and
Correct.
they could still buy stars there, and they could still help out through your website. I imagine this year you may still see a number of folks who, for whatever reason, may not be heading back to the malls to do their shopping quite yet, or like so many others, they do so much of their shopping from home now. Your website is also a means that folks can
Yes, and
go
actually
to
we have a
help out.
special website called AdoptAWish, NENY. That'll take you right to the AdoptAWish campaign site, where people can buy stars online or make a contribution online directly. This entire area of our state has been incredibly generous to us and helping us to really bring that hope, strength, and joy to these kids and families when they most need it.
And a testament to your volunteers to make it happen.
Exactly.
Bill Trigg, thank you very much, as always, for
Tom.
stopping by. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.